What's up, YouTube? Welcome back, DJ Reacts. Uh, probably have been wondering why I haven't posted about the whole UAP issue, these drones or whatever people are calling them. Very specific reason why, and I'll get into that later in the video. But first, let's take a look at some of these UAPs and some of the videos that people are posting. Let's get a nice visual of what's going on first.
So since the hearings, have you noticed an uptick or a change in the reports that you're receiving?
I've noticed from commercial pilots that there is absolutely an uptick. Some relatively new information, I guess you could say, is that I am hearing from cases that are more broadly dispersed. So I have been reporting that north of the Atlantic and the northern Pacific as well, pilots that are doing those transatlantic or trans-Pacific flights are seeing various objects, lights that are coming down, behaving in strange ways, holding in a pattern, look like almost like they're dogfighting in space in some way, kind of back and forth with each other. I've reported that coming out near the Big Dipper in the hearings. And since then, I've heard from many other pilots that have reported similar sightings that match the same description in other parts, such as in north-south flights off the eastern seaboard and elsewhere. So we are starting to get a broader data set now that more pilots both feel comfortable and understand that they're not the only ones with this problem. There's one thing that almost every pilot that talks to me says is that I didn't realize that other people were seeing this until I approached it with someone and they said, yeah, I've seen that too. And I've seen that too. So I would encourage any pilots listening to this to, if you have seen something, at least talk to your colleagues about it. See if they've seen it. If not, show it to them.
So this one isn't even new. It's from 2023. I just wanted to post that to show that pilots have this stigma, just like academia has a stigma about cryptozoology. You know, if you're in academia as a scientist or a biologist and you speak about cryptozoology, cryptoids, uh, you're pretty much blackballed from academia. And when it comes to pilots, if you speak on these things, if you talk about, you're seeing UFOs or unidentified anything in the air, if you try to pursue that, you will be flying a desk for the rest of your career, is what they call it. Meaning you'll be grounded and you'll be sitting at a desk instead of flying. So I just wanted to post that to give some perspective on the pilot's view.
Look at this motherfucker. Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again. Bro, this is fucking crazy, man. Look at this guy. They're spraying the skies. Look, he just sprayed that. This guy. This guy just sprayed that.
Appears it could be a plane, but as it flies overhead, no body is visible in the center. It's like a boomerang. Also, for FAA regulations, to my understanding, there should be a red light on the end of one wing and a green light on the other. Neither are visible.
I'm telling you that they're not moving. They're staying stationary. They're hovering.
They kind of look wide too.
Look at the lights changing.
It is moving.
No, it's not.
It looks like it.
Yeah, but they're not moving. That's an airplane. Hang on.
Which one? The one closest to the Capitol building?
Hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's an airplane.
But the one in the middle, that one.
That's an airplane. You can see it moving.
Yeah.
The one to the right, or over
The
here,
one going behind the Capitol building is not an airplane.
or over here. That's an airplane. Okay.
Yeah, over there is, but look at
Yeah,
that one.
and so I'm saying, like, when you look to the left of the Capitol,
That one.
those are not moving.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. They're here.
Can we go back in the car? God.
They're here, Ella.
Okay. Heck.
Look, they're spraying. See all that line? That's them. And the drone is way out there.
You see what they're spraying? It's falling down.
Yeah, it's falling down. I know, it's falling down.
What is it?
I don't know. See, the drone's out there. I'm pointing at it. I know you probably can't see it, but what they're spraying is falling on us. Can you please explain that to us, please? Government, they're spraying stuff and it's falling on us.
This is one of the few times I'll ever post anything from a national news station.
Been trying to unwrap a mystery. Ever since Thanksgiving, there have been thousands of reported drone sightings, mostly in the skies over New Jersey. Now those sightings have spread. Reports of flying objects have cropped up in half a dozen states in the Northeast, some even here in New York City. And now what was a curiosity is raising some alarm among some federal officials.
The FBI and Homeland Security Department have said these objects do not pose a threat to the public. In fact, some law enforcement officials believe they aren't drones, but planes or helicopters that are being mistaken for unmanned aircrafts. But despite that, some high-ranking elected leaders are demanding answers to what the objects are and who's controlling them. In the dark of night, the number of reported drone sightings in at least 6 East Coast states is now more than 3,000 and counting.
We saw blinking, like lots of blinking things up in the sky to the south, right over the ocean.
In New Jersey, unexplained drone activity was reported above a naval weapons station, while farther north, the FAA ordered temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over Picatinny Arsenal, where armament research is conducted, and over a Trump golf club.
There's one right above us.
But no one is sure how the oversized drones, some reported to be the size of cars, got there. At the White House, the National Security Communications Advisor offered this.
Many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
And a local sheriff seemed to discredit the credibility of a covert operation.
If they didn't put their lights on, no one would be looking, right?
Right.
And they're putting their lights so they want you to see.
But some politicians want to know more.
The fact that the federal agencies responsible for briefing the public have not come forward in a clear way is unacceptable.
Yesterday, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy wrote a letter to President Biden asking for federal resources to figure out what's going on. And senators from New York and New Jersey signed a joint letter to the FBI, FAA, and Department of Homeland Security.
If you don't know whose it is and who's flying it, you have to take it down.
Well, that sentiment from New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand echoed by President-elect Donald Trump. He posted on Truth Social that the government should let the public know what the objects are or shoot them down. Experts caution the public should not take matters into their own hands. Shooting down a drone or any aircraft is a federal crime.
In the past 20 minutes, I think we've seen about 15 of these drones. In fact, there's one right over my shoulder, right there.
I got reports that there were drones actively happening in Monmouth County. So I raced up to Monmouth County and pulled off near Red Bank. And sure enough, I looked up in the sky in the town and saw one. So I followed it to a residential area and got out of my car, took out my iPhone and started filming it.
I can't believe I'm seeing this.
And it was about 150 feet overhead. At that point I said, look, my iPhone's not capturing this. I called my photographer, who was about half an hour behind. I said, get up here with your camera right now. He came and met me, and for the next 2 hours, we traveled to various spots around Monmouth County. And I believe we saw over 50 of these drones. And I gotta say, if this is not the military, it's even more terrifying. These things they look like they're fixed wing, and they have multiple lights. There's a red light, on some of them there's a green light. Then there's easily 3 white blinking lights. They go at the usual cadence. We tried to chase one, and it rapidly sped off. I'm not really sure how to process what we all saw last night. Both Nick and I were my cameraman were kind of stunned by the whole experience, and we will have the full report tonight on Elizabeth Vargas Live.
Well, it's not a plane. I know that. Update on the drone situation in New Jersey, New York, and other places. And of course, it didn't come from the FBI, didn't come from the White House, it came from a Republican congressman talking to Harris Faulkner this morning. Do you want to hear what he had to say?
How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
Wait, did I just hear that right? Did Jeff Van Drew, Congressman, Republican, just tell us that sources that he's been talking to said that Iran launched a mothership off the East Coast and we haven't done anything about it? What the hell is going on, Joe? Hey, Joe, what are you doing? Folks, this is a big deal. If we've allowed one of the United States' chief enemies, Iran, to put a mothership off the East Coast and are allowing them to launch drones into the United States, and our military didn't know about it, our FBI is not aware of it, and the White House is pretending like they have no idea, this is a big effing deal, guys. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming hours and days, but if Joe Biden is allowing drones to be flown into our country from Iran with the knowledge of China, we got a problem. We got a big problem.
Hours earlier, I was invited to join the Ocean County Sheriff Department. They launched their own drones to see if they could intercept the mysterious aircraft New Jersey residents have been reporting in recent weeks. The department says these mystery drones evade detection because they don't give off heat like regular drones.
Why do you think that is? We don't know. It's just something that we haven't, it's not something that we've had our hands on. It's not something that we've experienced.
Something they hadn't experienced until now. One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat, and they reported seeing 13 following their boat, and then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
I see one right here.
Did I see the same thing that officer saw? I'm still not sure. What I can show you is this video. What I can tell you is I've never seen anything like it before. Wow. And more than a month since these reports started, the federal government doesn't know what they are either.
And Bill and Sandra, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, we're live here in Mendham Borough. Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Look at this motherfucker. Look at him spraying. He is spraying the sky again.
Yup, the U.S. is officially in a code red emergency as the unearthly violent drones have actually multiplied and started attacking. But it's worse than that, and we all have nowhere to run. People were terrified after a woman went viral for recording an eerie footage of one of the drones seemingly targeting us and then violently crashing, with her saying it was larger than an SUV, and within 10 seconds other drones came circling around it, with many local citizens saying it is real, they're here and ready to kill. It gets creepier as the drones, once from New Jersey, conspiracy have multiplied fast into neighboring states, allegedly blasting beams, and haunting videos of now hundreds of drones are shown, moving erratically and fast without making any noise, allegedly scanning the town for something or someone. With even government officials accused of lying, calling this not dangerous, but videos at the crash site show people in hazmat suits for 12 hours. Rumors aside, these drones are very likely to be US drones, as FAA regulations state that drones have to have red or white lights, so they're likely not dangerous.
One was a happier one, but unfortunately it's not. And I hate to even do this, but there's a lot of things that have come out today that all point to the same thing. And I think it's worth mentioning. And at the end, I'll leave you with a positive note. So, what is happening? Okay, we have these drones, they're increasing. The government is coming out saying there's nothing to see here, but just today, the governor of Maryland came out and said, hey, all night last night I sat out in my backyard and I saw drone after drone, car size, van size of these drones circling. What are they doing? So the local sheriffs, the state, all sorts of people are getting angry and saying, hey, y'all know something, why aren't you telling us? Well, here is why possibly these are ours and they're not saying anything. Now, there are agencies within our government, parts of our government that other parts don't know about. There's very secret agencies that have access to technologies that other people don't, possibly from exotic reverse engineered craft, okay? So they could have things at their disposal that wouldn't make sense to us, that we would see as alien or UFOs. Now, if they were to deploy these out into the public, it has to be for a very dire reason. They wouldn't just do this. They would do it at night so people couldn't get a good look at them. They would do it in a way to where they could maintain anonymity, right? Giving them FAA approved lights and that kind of stuff. And then they would come out and they would say, nothing to see here, but you're not in any danger. Well, how can they tell us that these things don't pose a risk to us or a danger if they also are telling us they don't know what they are? Well, these agencies that outrank everybody would just simply say, hey, these are ours. We're looking for something. Don't shoot us. Don't do anything. And you can't say anything. Just play dumb. And that's what our politicians have to do. They have to play dumb. So what could it be? Well, new information is coming out that is suggesting, this is all hypothetical, but that there was some sort of a weapon, a big one, that was smuggled into our country somehow through a port or maybe a submarine or something like that, and that these are looking for it. They have like nuclear sniffing technology and they can search out things. And that's why they're low and slow. That's why you're seeing them right over rooftops and tree lines. They're searching. They're using their equipment. They're probably AI-based, AI-powered, and these things are systematically looking for something. And that's why they don't want to tell anyone what they are, because then it outs this technology, because people don't know, like everyone's looking at it saying, we don't know what this technology is. That's why they're thinking it must be some adversary. So like, we don't have this technology. Well, I think we do. I think that's why these are all in America and UK, our ally, and why they are looking in specific areas systematically. They're looking for something. So the reports are, these are all reports, all hypotheticals, okay? The reports are that they are looking for a container of some sort or something like that that might have a weapon in it before the bad guys do something bad with the weapon, okay? That's what they're looking for. That's the report. There's other reports. There's all sorts of stuff saying there's two different factions in the government. One wants to do it, one doesn't, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. So many rumors. I'm not going to get into all that. But the reason I felt it, appropriate to even say this much is because there's a few other things that correlate this. Like, there's a group called the Farsight Group. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they do pretty good remote viewing work, and they remote viewed December, and they were trying to see specifically if there's any sort of event that happens in December and January domestically. And almost everyone in the group saw a prominent explosion of some sort, okay? So that's significant because there was multiple people that saw similar things. And then you had Chris Bledsoe, who had a prophetic vision from the lady years ago, and he talked about it, that there was some sort of a device that was delivered via submarine on the East Coast. So that was something that he said, which, at the time people were like, probably not, that doesn't seem reasonable. But now look at what's going on, okay? And then you have like the whole, cliff high 39 days to melee thing, which basically don't worry about the 39 days specifically, but put in the month of December some sort of an aerial skirmish, some sort of a thing between our, jets and helicopters and stuff and something else, some other craft. Well, what are we seeing? We're seeing these craft that we can't explain, an unidentified flying object, okay? He nailed it with this. It's crazy. We're watching it happen, okay? So are these UFOs? Well, they could be our stuff that is reverse engineered from UFOs. I mean, we know that these programs exist So we always wondered, what are they doing with these programs? They've had 70 years to reverse engineer this stuff. What have they done? I think we're seeing it. They're only rolling it out because they have to. Unfortunately, that's the bad news. So where does the good news come in? I hate doing videos like this. Well, there's a lot of reports that in addition to this, there's other things in the sky, orbs. Okay, anytime I see the orbs are good. Okay, I've had experiences with these guys. They're cherub angel spirits. They are here to oversee. Okay, I don't know how much ability they have to prevent us from being idiots and doing stupid things, but I think that they do, because they show up at a lot of disaster sites and catastrophes and cataclysms, and they're always around war zones and that kind of stuff, and it makes you think they're probably doing something. They're working. They might not be able to prevent everything, but I think they're preventing some of it. And then there's the Galactic Federation. Whether you believe in that or not, more and more information is coming out that there is a group of ET-type beings that we might be trying to level up our consciousness to get to the point where we can join, that serve as sort of a governing council of space, and that they can intervene, but only if they're invited in, because they cannot impede on our free will. So the good news I'll leave you with is possibly, I know people pray, and I'm not saying not to pray, but you might even consciously reach out and say, we're asking for assistance. We're needing help here. This is a situation, we could use your help, and we would allow your help, and we would invite your help. So that's something I'm going to do, and I would recommend. If you want to, you can do too, and see if we invite in the Galactic Federation, if that is a thing, that maybe they can use their powers and their abilities to help intervene here, because we might need it. Anyways, that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Have a beautiful day.
So he's got one of the most interesting viewpoints on this that I've heard, saying that they're angels or cherub and they're completely harmless. That's yet to be proven or seen. I know the Farsight group, if you just go to Google, type in the Farsight group, they're a group of the most advanced remote viewers that's out there right now. This was started by a guy named Ingo Swann, who he was a remote viewer, and then the CIA ended up basically taking him. He was an artist, a painter, and the CIA ended up taking him and said, hey, we're going to give you a handler and you're going to work for us now. So even when he wanted to go on vacation or go, visit his parents or any of these things, he had to have his handler with him, and he had to have specific permission. Like, all these documents are on CIA.gov, but I've known about Ingo Swann for a long time in remote viewing. I talked about it in a few of my videos about how he's the best that there has ever been, on record at least, and he could not only remote view other places, but he can remote view into the future as well, into the past, and also on other planets. The CIA tested him for this, and he didn't know. They just gave him, longitude, latitude, and he would see what he could see there. And he never knew where this was. So when they had him remote viewing things on other planets, like Mars specifically, he had a very, very bad experience with that, and also on the moon, because he didn't know where these locations were or what he was going to see. But yeah, they had him do that, thousands of years in the past to a few decades to a couple of hundred years into the future, I think was his limit, if I remember right. But let me know what you guys think about his viewpoint in the comments. I don't know if that's right or wrong. My personal opinion, I'll get to that later. Let's look through a few more before I get to that.
None of them wanted to go on camera tonight, but we did get a statement from the New Jersey Firefighters Mutual Benevolent Association, and it says the NJFMBA has been in constant contact with the Division of Fire Safety and other state agencies as they monitor the drone situation. They say while our members share the same concerns many New Jersey residents have, we remain committed to being the first line of defense for our state. We will be keeping our members updated as we continue to monitor the situation. And the last update I want to give you is this morning in Hillsborough, there was a report that a drone may have crashed into a field near the Lowe's parking lot on Route 206. There was a huge response to that, including the state police aviation unit. Responders searched the ground and the air, they say, and they say they were unable to locate a downed drone. Authorities later confirmed that no drone was recovered from the scene, and they remind the public to report these downed drones if they see any to the FBI, and make sure you contact the FBI first. For now, reporting live in North Jersey, Amanda Lee, News 12 New Jersey.
All right, Amanda, thank you so much.
Okay, we're in Hillsborough, New Jersey. A drone went down here about 12 a.m. I recorded that video at about 10:30, 10:45 this morning when I went over to the Lowe's parking lot to see what was going on. When I arrived, I saw cop cars everywhere, fire trucks everywhere, special services trucks, hazmat trucks, and people in hazmat suits and fire gear coming out of the woods when I got there. Mind you, they have been there since about 12 a.m., so they were there for almost a full 12 hours. If it was nothing, they wouldn't still be there. Did I see them pull anything out of the woods? I don't know. I couldn't get that close. There were people coming off on RVs and like ATV things, but we weren't allowed to get close enough, so I couldn't see even if they had something covered. If it actually was a drone crash, I'm assuming that they would have picked up all the big pieces throughout the middle of the night since it crashed at 12 a.m. I was standing with other people, and one guy that I talked to said that he was there around 12:30 a.m. and took a picture of 2 hazmat trucks there at 12:30 a.m. I don't have that picture, but they've been there from 12:30 this morning until they left around probably 12:30. And I mean 12:30 p.m. They were there a whole 12 hours, cleaning up whatever this was. I've heard about these drones but never saw one until last night when I recorded, and that's the video. The other video that I have posted is the recording I took last night of a huge drone. It doesn't look that big in the camera because the iPhone camera just doesn't do it justice. Seeing it in person, and it was less than a quarter mile away from me, it was gigantic. I'm not making this up. Hillsborough Township had stated to me when I was there that they were going to release like a press release or press conference or something, but to my knowledge, nothing has been released yet. If it was nothing, they wouldn't have been there for over 12 hours searching in hazmat suits, having all these resources pulled. If it was nothing, it was something. I'm going to post another video now of all the other pictures I took while I was there at the end of their search.
No way! Yo! No way. You got good footage? Good footage? Oh, they bugging! This shit fucking crashed! Yo!
A lot of people are saying that that's a Cessna 172. It looks too small to be a Cessna 172 to me, but it could just be a bad angle. But you really can't see the cockpit. Look at the size of the people compared to that. Cessnas are small, but not that small. But it could just be the angle. I can't weigh in one way or the other.
Now admitting that they have revealed that unidentified drones are operating on a frequency that cannot be detected. Okay, we can't detect the frequency? We don't know, admits the New Jersey State Police. We don't know what these things are. New Jersey Representative Jeff Van Drew now is doubling down on the same claim that he made yesterday, which we brought to you yesterday here on the show, that these mysterious drones are coming from an Iranian mothership off the east coast of the United States. And he slammed Pentagon officials for it at the time for treating the American people like they're stupid and withholding information about these drones. This is what he said this morning. Watch.
These drones very well could be launched from a ship. It could be hundreds of miles out at sea. These types of drones go much greater distances. These, again, are something that we normally don't see in the United States. So there is a real possibility. Could it be China? Absolutely. Could it be somebody else? It sure could. Here's the deal. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it's about. They haven't taken one down to analyze it. They have no idea where it comes from, but they know that it's not that. I mean, that's nonsense. They do not know what they're doing. Why don't they take one of them down, analyze it, and let us know what's really happening? I hope they know more than they're telling us, but that's disrespectful to the public and to Congress. It's about time they leveled with the truth. Hopefully they'll give us some information this afternoon. But even if they do, it's like a month too late. This reminds me of the spy balloon. Last year, traveled the whole country.
Yeah, he's right.
Wait. Yesterday he said if it was our own government, they'd have told us.
Yeah.
He
So
literally
now-
said that yesterday.
He's all over the place with this, but he is doubling down on the fact that these are coming from an Iranian mothership. So he's doubling down on that, but now he wants answers from the government, and he hopes that they'll tell us the truth about it today, I guess. Like we'll suddenly get answers on this. But he's right about one thing on this, which is that it's been about a month now. I mean, November 18th is when these things were first spotted. And they're showing up in massive numbers, staying up in the air for 6-7 hours at a time, even longer in some reports. And where are they going back to? We don't know. We don't have any idea. Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling BS on all of this. She says this idea that the Pentagon or the Defense Department doesn't know where these are coming from is total garbage. She says they absolutely know. She's calling BS. Watch.
Well, number one, I'm going to call it total bullshit that no one knows what these are. And I think it's a slap in the face to the American people to say they don't know what this is. They can track down a guy that just killed a CEO, but they can't identify what nightly drones are and where they're coming from. I think that is absolutely disgusting to lie to the American people like this, and the truth needs to be told about it. Secondly, if they're telling the truth, then this country is in horrible shape. We're all in danger. I mean, seriously, if our great government can't identify what these drones are, they're flying every single night, that people are sitting out there videoing with their cell phones, then no American is safe. And I have no respect if our government cannot say what these are.
So if we don't know who they are.
Yes,
right?
hallelujah to her. So the Belleville mayor of New Jersey also just spoke out this afternoon saying that they were just briefed. 500 different mayors were briefed on this, and all sorts of unanswered questions that he says here in this interview. Watch.
New Jersey has some of the best detection equipment in the nation, I am told. We have by far the most robust equipment, is what the state police told us. The detection equipment is up, but not detecting. These are 6-foot drones that are somehow evading our detection. They are not being detected. I hear some unknowns.
Oh, sorry. You can keep playing it. Sorry.
And again, they were very transparent today. So some of the unknowns. The state police says, unknowns. We have no idea where they're taking off from. No idea. We have no idea where they're landing. No idea at all. We have no idea who's behind them, because as I mentioned, they are not state, and we are told it is not federal. We have no idea the drone types, as I mentioned before, that they stay up about 6 to 7 hours, and if you're a drone operator, you probably know that that's a very, very long time. We know
So that's all we don't know where they're from. We don't know where they're landing. We don't know any of that, right? As Brad Cage writes, a good rule of thumb is if the deep state can't find out who did it, then the deep state are the ones who did it. I love that, Brad. Friend of the show, Ashton Forbes, who's going to be on the show soon here again. We've had an interview with Ashton before, but he's going to be back soon here during the holiday season. But he said it's too bad we don't have some kind of global persistent infrared surveillance system constantly scanning the entire planet. Otherwise, we'd be able to figure out what these drones are and where they're coming from. Oh, wait, we do. SBIR is the space-based infrared system that we have at our disposal. That's exactly what we have already in place to completely scan the United States and the world, for instance, constantly scanning the entire planet. We know exactly where they're coming from. I mean, we can pinpoint and tell you what the movement of trucks in Russia, for crying out loud. We know what underground bunkers are hiding in Iran, for crying out loud. We know exactly where these things are coming from, but we're just not being honest, of course. And then overnight, we got new images, by the way. Look at this helicopter coming in contact with one of these things in the sky. Look at the size of this thing. So in the back, look in the bottom picture here. You can see the helicopter in the background, and there's like massive craft, unlike anything I've ever seen before. Okay. Is this some sort of a man-made craft? It looks like it probably is. The Black Book Project craft that we don't know anything about. That's probably exactly what it is. And then in Florida, now not just New Jersey, Florida, in Plantation, Florida, this woman was live streaming last night on Facebook, and she was showing live these orbs in the sky, and then she shows them, they transform into airplanes and then take off. And she's like, for 5 hours and for 5 days in a row, I've been capturing these things. So watch this as these things transform from an orb and then suddenly just shoot off as airplanes. Watch.
Okay, guys, this is real time live streaming. Drones, UAP, UFO, call them whatever you want. This is not normal. And by the way, the FAA clears. There's no airplanes flying right now in the greater plantation area. Look how it takes flight. That one takes flight in the shape of an airplane. That one takes flight and eventually, well, it's still looking like an orb. Okay, so let's see how big this one gets. I believe this has some kind of technology that it projects some kind of holographic image of an airplane. I know I sound crazy, but I've seen these now for 5 days. 5 days.
So there you go.
Did anybody else think that the emoji hearts were the drones at first?
Yeah.
People pushing them. And I was like,
did,
oh,
yeah.
and they're heart-shaped?
People.
In December, we saw a large number of drone incidents at Langley.
They're like blinking lights. They're like changing colors.
We still don't know who was behind those. We see consistent incursions around sensitive government facilities.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy.
Reports of drone incursions are increasing at civilian airports and military bases across the U.S. and worldwide.
Mysterious, apparently small car-sized drones that people are spotting flying over New Jersey in the middle of the night.
And in the 30 minutes we've been here, we've seen up to 7 drones in the sky above us. They're above us right now, just moving back and forth.
This has been happening every single night with the exception of Thanksgiving over the past few weeks.
Oh my God, here we go. Here it is. Yo, look, looks like a triangle. Look,
it just made a perfect triangle. It made a triangle.
Whether these drones belong to foreign powers like Russia or China, unknown entities, or something entirely different, the lack of transparency is troubling. The American people deserve answers. Who is behind these incursions? Why can't our military respond? And what's really going on?
The American people deserve to know the truth on this, and we also deserve to have actions on it. The answer can't be we don't know. And the answer can't be zero.
Visit newparadigminstitute.org today and take action.
So you mean to tell me the government have no idea what these so-called drones are, or maybe UFOs? Because remember, not too long ago they told us that, yes, they exist. Yes, we have captured biological entities and even their aircraft or spaceships or whatever you want to call it. Now to have this whole situation going on in New Jersey, just to have the government talking about, we don't know what they are. And while we're shooting these suckers down, if you don't know, if you're not shooting them down, with all the technology that we have, you mean you can't zoom in on these suckers and see what they really are? You can't shoot them down. You have not even tried. Let me know what you think about this nonsense in the comments.
So the drones are coming from the inside of the ocean.
Hey, look, it's right there. Right there. Right there.
Breaking news. It's now confirmed. The drones originated from our oceans. Last Thursday, a sheriff from Ocean County, New Jersey, reported to state police, the FBI, and the U.S. Coast Guard that she witnessed 50 drones flying from the ocean toward the mainland.
There were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also.
The flight path crossed the navigational channel at Island Beach State Park. The sheriff, a sworn officer, is considered a highly credible witness. In response, the Ocean County Sheriff's Office immediately deployed its own industrial-grade drone to track one of the 50 drones reportedly emerging from the sea. However, what happened next was unusual. The mysterious drones emitted no heat signature, unlike typical drones, and quickly evaded pursuit. Later, Coast Guard officials reported that 13 drones, each with an 8-foot wingspan, had tailed one of their vessels. These These SUV-sized, unidentified flying objects have been hovering over New Jersey skies since November 18th, causing growing alarm among local residents. Explanations for these drones vary. Some speculate they could be foreign in origin, sent by adversaries. However, last Friday, both the White House and the Pentagon dismissed this theory, stating there was nothing to worry about and suggesting people might be overreacting. Yet, the confirmation that these drones originated from the sea has gone unanswered by the federal government.
Okay, I'll go ahead and end it there. If you want my opinion, so recently, during one of those congressional hearings, they said that, yeah, there's alien bases in the ocean and we've dealt with them, we have deals with them, blah, blah, blah. And, but them not having a heat signature very much so tells me that it's government. But also, the way everything is going tells me that it's government. Because if this was not U.S. government, they would have easily started shooting these things down. That's what they do. You can't go into another country's airspace or foreign airspace like that without, getting warned and then getting shot down. It doesn't happen that much anymore, but, and when somebody told me, I was first watching these and with a friend, and he said, yeah, they're staying in the sky for 7 and 8 hours, and people are saying they're the size of small SUVs. And I was like, well, like a commercial drone can't stay in the air that long, but military drones do. Any kind of military drone, especially the ones built for combat, they fly extremely high. They can see really well. They can read a license plate on a vehicle from that high, and they're equipped with weapon systems. And they also have that special kind of paint that makes sure radar can't see them. They don't emit heat. So this all tells me that it's U.S. government. Now, the people that are saying that they're aliens and this and that, I found that to be strange just because, they said that they're coming out of the water and now this is happening. But here's one thing. So I fly drones a lot. Not that much anymore, but I used to. So there was a law that was enacted, I think like 4 or 6 years ago, to where if you had any drone that was heavier than 250 grams, and if you don't know how much that is, your keyboard is going to weigh more than 250 grams. So these are even the tiny hobbyist drones. You need to be equipped with remote ID. So that way there's a tracking system on it. If you're in the sky, it's basically like the beacon on an airplane. So that way they can see your flight path, see where you are. I think that's stupid for small drones that people are just flying around. They don't go that high, so it doesn't interfere with things. But the one thing that I do think is with them saying that there's alien bases in the water and then having all of these drones coming out of the water, this is part of that whole, and it's not Project Bluebeam. It's definitely not Project Bluebeam. But one thing that I do think it is so you have to look at what they're not showing. And, it's like a sleight of hand. They're showing you a lot of one thing, but what are they not showing you? They're not showing you the laws that they're trying to get enacted because of these drones. They're trying to fearmonger, cause a lot of fear and panic. And when they cause that type of fear and panic, then they can use that fear to get these laws enacted to where they'll be able to make things a lot more strict, just like when they were trying to declare martial law during COVID and a few other times. Reagan said this a lot on three separate occasions. Reagan said, we fight over our differences, and it would be a good thing to have an alien attack or a fake alien attack, because once we see that we're all human beings and we're part of the human family, and now we're fighting against a foreign entity that's not human, all of those differences go away. That's something that President Reagan talked about a good bit, but he specifically talked about wanting to enact a fake alien invasion to get us all to come together. He said that on 3 separate occasions. You can look it up online, it's out there. I just didn't put it in this video. So, yeah, I don't think these are anything foreign whatsoever. The military has been working on a lot of massive drones, and they're not the only ones with these commercial-sized drones. There's people out there that are building drones. There's a guy with a channel that he's built these big drones to where he actually stands on top of them and it flies him. So, yeah, I don't think these are alien whatsoever. I think people need to stop panicking about it because they're trying to use this to enact laws that's going to make things more strict on us and not in a good way. So that's just my 2 cents. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The Ali Carter Confessions 1 and 2 are going to be coming up tonight as well. So check that out. Coming up, probably post within the next 2 or 3 hours or so. So have a good one. See you guys on the next one.